Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. What if I told you the only thing standing between you and your next big opportunity is your voice? This isn't just another program. Empower Your Message is your ticket to becoming the podcast guest everyone wants. You'll learn how to craft a pitch that gets a hell yes, show up with unshakable confidence, and drop truth bombs that leave hosts and audiences wanting more. No more playing small. No more waiting for permission. It's your time to be heard. Loud, clear, and unforgettable. Visit the link in the show notes to sign up, and let's make your voice impossible to ignore. The mic is waiting. Are you ready? Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Liz Hansen. She is a boudoir photographer and a TEDx speaker. Welcome, Liz. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Brad.
It is an honor and a pleasure. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm looking forward to jumping in and sharing all about the beautiful light you put out into the world and the women you help through the work you do, as well as jump in and share a little bit about your story and your journey. So with that being said, let us jump right in. I want to kick things off here by asking you, before photography, before the stage, before your business, who were you at your core, and how has she evolved into the woman you are today?
Thanks for asking. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. My dad worked for the federal government in the 80s. I grew up in a big family. I'm one of 6 kids. And I went to school to become a teacher. And I was an ESL teacher, English as a second language. And I taught for a while, got married, had 2 kids. And then I was a stay-at-home mom for a few years. My younger daughter had some special needs that made it hard to put her in childcare. Made it home with her for a while. And then in 2018, I opened up a boudoir photography studio. I had been doing photography for a few. So when my babies were born, I got really into photography. Okay. I was just so in love with those babies. I wanted to take pictures of them every second. And there was a gal in my neighborhood that knew some things about photography. She showed me a few things. See, I'm old. Digital photography was new when I was getting into it. It's still new, right? I took a couple of semesters of photography classes at my local community college, and I had started like a little business doing weddings and families and babies and things. And then in 2015, I signed up for a boudoir photo shoot for myself. I heard about it through photography circles and things, and I was very intrigued, and I decided to sign up for a photo shoot for myself. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that signing up for a boudoir photo shoot was like transformational for me. Really opened up something in me that made me want to show up in my life in bigger and better ways. I walked out of there feeling like I could conquer the world. And so a couple years after that, I did decide to open up my own boudoir studio and offer that same confidence building experience to other women.
Amazing. So in between getting your shoot done and opening your studio, then obviously you stepped into learning and educating yourself around boudoir photography and learning the lighting, the posing, all of that. Because as you and I both know, it's a very different animal when you're lighting and posing for boudoir photography. So you really have to step into and hone your skill sets around, especially those 2 things, posing. But we're also, I like to say, psychologists as well as boudoir photographers, right?
Yes. And I think the learning, it never stops, right? Like I'm always trying to improve my skills, my lighting, my creativity, right? And I consider it like an honor that women trust me in this moment of intimacy and that they trust me to create images for them that they will love and cherish for years to come.
So when you first started shooting boudoir, as you were learning, did you do free shoots? Were you doing paid shoots?
So 2 things. First off, I got a job at a boudoir studio. Okay. When I first got the job, I was just answering the phones, answering some emails, doing some marketing. I ended up working there for about 3 years, and by the time I left, I was doing some shooting and lighting and editing as well.
Oh, okay.
And so I got my feet wet there. But then when I opened up my own studio in 2018, I did offer a lot of free shoots because when I first opened my studio, I did not have a portfolio. I couldn't use any of
Right.
the pictures from the place I had worked. And
Yeah.
so I offered to everyone I could find and anyone I knew, hey, if you let me use your photos, I will take a
Mhm.
free photo shoot for you. And a lot of people were interested in that, to be honest. I was really upfront. Hey, I'm just getting started. But I quickly assembled also a hair and makeup team so that I could offer hair
Mhm.
and makeup even for free shoots. If people wanted to add on hair and makeup, I wanted to be prepared for that as well. And yeah, I did maybe 30 or 40 free shoots when I first started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I knew I needed the practice.
Yeah.
And I also wanted a lot of diversity in my portfolio.
Yeah,
I was
which is
anxious.
important.
Yeah, I was anxious to have women of a broad range of ages, sizes, shapes and sizes and colors. So I kept at that. And then so some of the free shoots I would do the shoot for free. And then if they wanted to buy some pictures afterwards, they could. That kind of,
Mhm.
so then I worked. So first it was all free, and then it was like free, and then I worked with paid shoots
Fully free, free.
and
Love it.
way underpriced. Right. So it was
Mhm.
fully free, way underpriced, and then profitably priced. I had to work through those things.
That's that journey. That's that
Yeah.
journey for sure. Figuring out your pricing, getting your footing in the entrepreneurial world as a boudoir photographer, and figuring that whole thing out. That's a whole thing in itself, figuring out the pricing and
Well, and
it's a struggle.
I didn't have a lot of people in my life who were running a business. So, like, to
Right.
go out on my own and open up a studio in a commercial space, like, to me, this was a really big leap. I didn't have a lot of role models. Now I do. Now I know lots of people running businesses and I have lots of friends
Yeah.
who are photographers. But when I first started, I really didn't. Almost everyone in my life was either working a corporate job, like just a 9 to 5, or maybe they were like a doctor or they were a stay-at-home mom or something like that. I
Mhm.
didn't really know any entrepreneurs. So when I first started, there was like a really big learning curve, not only just the nuts and bolts of learning how to run a business, but also sort of that emotional piece of, can I do this? Am I good enough to do this? Will
Mhm.
people trust me? Am I allowed to take money from people? What does that mean? And so I made a lot of mistakes. I learned
Yeah.
a lot as I went along, and I'm still learning every day.
So the kids were the inspiration to start into photography. Is that right then?
Definitely. Yes.
Okay. So what inspired, I know you worked at the studio, but what was like the catalyst moment for you to say that this is the genre of photography I want to shoot, meaning boudoir? What was that light bulb moment for you?
Honestly, I think it was my own photo shoot.
Mm.
That so I walked into that photo shoot really nervous, really scared, really inhibited, and really feeling like I was doing something like a little bit naughty, right? That I shouldn't be doing, right? Quote unquote, good girls
Yeah.
don't do boudoir, right? But I was curious enough about it. I wanted to do it. I thought my husband would really like the book. But it ended up being just like this really important experience for me. And I never forgot it. I kept coming back to it. I kept thinking about it. And in some ways, I feel like not that I was like meant to be a boudoir photographer or something, but when I did become a boudoir photographer, I felt like I had found a home. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. It's where you're meant to be. Yeah. So do you feel that your journey in through and in boudoir photography has influenced your own evolution as a woman? And if so, how has that done that for you?
For sure. Just being around, so I've photographed like probably around 2,000 women now. And being around that many women, hearing their stories, being there as they celebrate their bodies and their lives during a boudoir photo shoot has absolutely changed my outlook on life. Everyone has a story.
Yeah.
Every person that walks in my studio has been through things that I can't imagine, has experiences, and just hearing their stories and being with them has changed how I see the world, how I see other people. It's given me a lot of compassion. I'm not weird about nudity anymore. It's made me more comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And it feels there's some, like you said, sort of it's partially like a little bit like therapy too. Like I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, but being there with people in their moment of where they're really trusting and they're really letting go, like that feels like a very intimate moment to be with people.
For sure. And so this is a great segue into the next question. As we both know, as boudoir photographers, it requires vulnerability. And we see a lot of that, and courage, of course, in and from your clients. So what transformations have you witnessed on the other side of the lens?
Yeah, so women come to my studio for all kinds of different reasons. Some women are coming in for a happy reason, like they are marrying the love of their life. They're having a baby. They're celebrating their 30th birthday. And then other women come into my studio for more difficult reasons. I've had women come into the studio because of a breast cancer diagnosis, because they've escaped a domestic violence situation. They've gotten divorced. They've had a loss in their life. And there's no wrong reason to come in for boudoir, right, but each of those reasons creates like a slightly different meaning for the session and why we're there and what we're doing. I'll never forget a really powerful experience for me was a woman named Sarah came into my studio, and I have permission to share her story. She was like 41 years old, young mom, I should say a mom of young kids. And she had a sudden heart attack in the middle of the night. And in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, she literally died, and they brought her back to life via CPR. Ooh. She ended up having to have like emergency surgery, cut open. She ended up having to like have 17 different surgeries to save her life. Jeez. She had scars up and down her body, right? And on the 1-year anniversary of her heart attack, she chose to be with me in my studio because she wanted to take pictures of her body to celebrate her scars. She didn't want me to Photoshop them out. She didn't want to get rid of them. She wanted to say, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful to be here, scars and all. Yeah. And that to me is like the embodiment of what boudoir is. You don't have to have a heart attack to get to the place where you want to say, I'm here. I matter. I'm alive, scars and all.
Yeah, it's about celebrating who you authentically are. It doesn't matter. It's a beautiful thing to witness, to see a woman come into the studio. And naturally, as you stated, when you went in for your shoot, they're very nervous, usually, not always, but usually, very inhibited. And as you go through the shoot, to see your clients step into who they are and own their confidence, and like it is one of the most magical and beautiful processes to ever witness. It is so phenomenal.
Absolutely. And it feels like an honor to be there every single time.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Now, what do you believe boudoir photography reveals about a woman's power that she can't often even see in herself?
So boudoir to me is so much more than just taking sexy photos, right? Boudoir is an opportunity for women to push against the narrative that we often hear. As women, we often hear messages about you have to fit into narrow beauty standards. You have to color in the lines. Good girls don't do this or that. And maybe even some messages about like worthiness or value. Are you allowed to do things? Do you need permission to do things? But these are things that often, even starting as young girls, we swim in this water. And sometimes we don't even realize that these are the messages we're getting. And boudoir is an opportunity to stand up and say, I matter. I'm not ashamed. I am here. I'm worthy. I am beautiful and worth this at this point in my journey, no matter what. I don't have to look a certain way. I don't have to act a certain way. I can just do this and be this and celebrate just me. I don't have to please someone else. I don't have to show these photos to anyone else. I can wear whatever I want. I can be however I want. I can be my raw, authentic self. Like to me, that's what boudoir is saying. Now, can you show pictures to a partner? Sure. Can you decide that this is for someone else? Sure. But I think if you buy into the experience and really take it in, it can be for you also.
That's something that I always tell every client of mine when I do my pre-shoot consults is Because so often I ask questions, why are you doing this and things like that. And more often than not, they'll say it's for their spouse, their partner, whatever the case, their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. And I'll always tell them that, okay, that's great. You can do that, of course. But I tell them that first and foremost, this is for you. This is about the experience. The images, yes, you walk away with images, but the images are just a byproduct of what we've created. It's about the experience. That's what it's about, is the experience of stepping into who you truly and authentically are, who you're meant to be, stepping into your confidence, into your power and owning it. That's what a boudoir shoot is. The images are only a byproduct. And yes, you can gift them to your partner, but I always want to state up front that I think that sure, you're doing it for that person, but it's more, first and foremost, it's for you. It's about you. This is about celebrating you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do decide to give your pictures as a gift, the pictures are a gift, but part of the gift is that you went and did this. You went and put yourself out there. You went and experienced that. It's like that old fable that talks about the man who gave a beautiful seashell as a gift. And the woman said, wow, these seashells, they only can be found on the far side of the island. It takes 3 days to walk over there. And the man says, long walk, part of gift, right? Yeah. Boudoir photo shoot, going to do the photo shoot, part of the gift, right?
Yes,
you went and did that. You put yourself out there. You maybe stepped outside of your comfort zone. And so that's what makes boudoir powerful.
Absolutely. Do you see boudoir more as an art form, an act of rebellion, or a revolution in self-love?
All three, right? I think, okay, an art form for sure, right? It's about seeing the body as art. It's about seeing a person as art. It's about using photography as an art form. An act of rebellion, absolutely. Like I, for sure, when I walked into my boudoir photo shoot, know that I was rebelling against some things, some stories I'd been telling myself about what I was allowed to do and who I was allowed to be, right? And then a revolution, in that same vein. What our world could use more of is empowered women who stand up and claim their power. And if boudoir helps start that revolution, I'm all for it.
Hells yes, absolutely. How do you personally define sensuality, and how do you help women reclaim it for themselves?
I think one of the most important things to realize is that sexy is not a size. All right. Sexy is not a number. It's not a measurement. It's not a dress size. It's not a cup size. Sexy is a vibe, right? You can be sexy at any age, at any size, at any shape, right? So I think a lot of women think, oh, if I'm going to take sensual photos, if I'm going to take sexy photos, I have to lose weight. I have to be different than I currently am. I have to be younger. I have to be this. I have to be that. But actually, it can be obtained right here, right now. And all you have to do is be willing to tap into those inner reserves that are already there. You already are a powerful goddess. You already have great value. You already are worthy just by being alive. And that can be captured just by you showing up. You don't have to practice in front of a mirror. You don't have to do anything different. You don't have to lose weight. You don't have to change anything about yourself, because the whole point of boudoir is to document you just as you are and show you how that is powerful just as you are. So that to me is the essence of it. It's the essence of sensuality, and looking sexy and feeling confident is not about fitting into a mold. It's not about losing weight. I'm here on if you want to go to the gym and hit some fitness goals, I'm here supporting you. But you don't have to wait for that in order to feel confident.
You hear that so often, though. Women, I just got to lose 10 pounds, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do that before I can give it. No, you don't. It's about celebrating where you are at this moment in your life and enjoying that and stepping into it and owning it. Because you are beautiful and perfect the way you are.
Yeah. And do a photo shoot now and then do it when you lose 10 pounds too. That's fine.
There you go. Yeah.
All along your journey at all sizes, part of the journey of being a woman is that your body changes a lot throughout adulthood.
Yeah.
There's a whole idea of maiden, mother, crone, right? We have these different chapters in our lives. Our bodies change as we go along. And there is some power in documenting each stage along the journey.
Agreed, for sure, 100%. When you strip away everything else, the lights, the lenses, the audience, what do you believe your true work in this world is?
So I was actually recently talking to my sisters, And we were talking about how a lot of times as young people, we did not feel fully seen. Part of this is growing up in the 80s and whatever. I feel like as a society, we've come a long ways, but or maybe not fully seen, maybe not fully appreciated for who we are. And that as adults, we have tried to find ways to help other people be seen and valued. And the way I'm doing that is through boudoir photography. And it's not the only way to do that, of course, but I want each woman who comes to the studio to be seen, to be valued, for her to feel, even for it's just a couple hours that she's in my studio, to know that she's worth it. She's worth being photographed. She's worth spending one day where we just talk about her and focus on her and think about her. It's all about her. Many times as women, we are socialized to believe that the only way to be a good woman is to always give to others, right? You know, give to our spouses, give to our children, give back to our work. Now, of course, it is good to give to others. I'm not saying that, but many women do it so much. They give that they themselves disappear into that giving. They don't leave space for themselves to develop and reach their goals and their dreams. And we all know you can't give from an empty cup, right? Like you can't. Yep. So when you never leave space for your life, for your development, for your growth, for your dreams, you end up like with this empty shell that you can give less to other people, right? What I want women to know when they come to my studio is this is not selfish. Self-love, self-care is not selfish. In fact, it's a radical, rebellious act where you're saying, I'm going to take up space today.
Yeah.
It's going to be about me today. And that in the end is not selfish. It's not vain. It's actually a radical act of self-love. And when you can love yourself in that way, then you can show up in the world and give more love to other people. So 100%. I hope that's what I'm doing. I hope that's what I want to do. That's what I'm aiming to do.
I love it. What is one defining moment in your life that completely altered the way you see yourself as a woman?
This might sound cliche, but having a baby. So I'm the mother to 2 beautiful daughters. And in some ways I can view my life like when I got married, I thought it was like going to be like, oh, single life and then married life after that. But in some ways, getting married was great and I'm married to a great guy and whatever. But I, as a person, didn't change that much when I got married. But when I had a baby, for me, my whole world changed. The whole way I relate to the world changed. It's interesting. I never, for example, when I would read a book or watch a movie, I never cried. I was not a crier. I had a baby. Suddenly every movie, I'm just waterworks. Things just touch my heart in a way they didn't used to. I can't watch Home Alone without just like bawling my eyes out, right? Oh, they left Kevin at home. Like my mother heart can't handle it, right? There's something about it, for me at least, that like becoming a mother just has changed like my view of humanity and how I interact in the world. And I know that's a very cliche answer, but it's true.
No, it's okay. It's the truth. So that's all that matters. In your wildest vision, what movement could boudoir spark in the world if women fully embraced it as empowerment and not vanity?
So we still have a lot of women in the world walking around who think they can't reach their dreams, can't do the big thing that they want to do because they don't have permission to, or because they're not good enough to try. We have a lot of women not willing to step up and share their voice because they're afraid of being shut down, or they're afraid of trolls on the internet, or they're afraid of being seen as this or that. And I think that's what the world needs more of, is women who aren't afraid to go after their dreams, women who aren't afraid to start a business, to run for office, who aren't afraid to say the hard truths, to break generational curses and patterns, to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I am going to stand on my own 2 feet for what I know is right and good. And I'm not just going to be a good girl just to be good and compliant. I'm going to be a good girl who actually brings goodness into the world. Just being compliant, just following the rules, it doesn't actually move anything forward, right? Like just sitting around and being like, I'm good because I'm quiet. I'm good because I didn't say anything. Like that doesn't actually help, right? Now, I'm not saying you go out and you like burn buildings to get people's attention. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just being good, just to be good and compliant is not what we need. Women who are actually willing to go out and do things for goodness sakes, to actually create new patterns, new opportunities and not just be quiet and compliant. And I think it's something, if we stop and think about it, women got the right to vote in what, like 1920?
It's crazy. And bank accounts just like,
In 1972 or whatever, right? You can fact check me on those dates. I'm not right. But it's just not been that long.
no.
Women have had the opportunity. So like even our mothers and grandmothers did not have the same opportunities that we have. And so there is still a lot of work to be done to helping women really rise to within their own power. Women have always been powerful and smart and capable. They have not always had a voice. They
Yes.
not always had the same opportunities. They couldn't get a bank account. They couldn't have the same job opportunities. It's like actually still a fairly new phenomenon that we have these generations of women who have all these doors open to them. And I just want more women to walk through those doors. And I get it. It's hard, right? Like it was hard for me to start a business. I did not have the inner courage to start a business for a long time. When I finally did, it was hard and I made a lot of mistakes, but I'm so glad that I did. And I wish I'd had more support and mentors along the way. So I'm hoping we'll pay it forward a little bit in some of those.
Yeah. But when women do that, when they do find their voice, when they do step up and own who they truly are, own their power, it's a permission slip for other women to do it. So the more women that get on board with doing it will also further the mission in terms of getting other women to see what's possible and to step up and do the same thing. So more women do need to keep doing it, because then it enables more women to see what's possible, believe what's possible, and then take the steps to make it happen. I think we are seeing a shift for sure. It has changed a fair bit over the last decade. I would say we're seeing more of it, and it will continue. We need to see more of it happening. And it's through conversations like this, Liz, that we model this and show women and talk about what's possible for women, so that they see that and they can also step into their courage and their strength and the power that they already have within them. Everything we need is already within us. It's just a matter of tapping into it, stepping into it, and using it to move ourselves forward.
Yeah, I think it's really hard for women sometimes to be what they can't see, right? So
Yeah,
if
for
you've
sure.
never seen a female CEO, it's just really hard to imagine yourself being it, right? If you've never seen a woman go into a boudoir photo shoot, it's hard to imagine yourself do it, right?
Yeah.
If you've never seen a female entrepreneur, if you've never seen a female surgeon, like these things it's sometimes hard. We do, of course, have many examples of pioneer women who push forward in male-dominated fields without role models, but it's so much easier to do if you have a role model and a mentor. And I'm so glad that my daughters will likely have so many more mentors and role models than I did. And there's still a lot of work to be done in helping women see what
For sure. Agreed. But the more women that do this, the better it is for society, for the world over, and you being an example for your daughters. They see it live and in person every day. You are doing the thing. You have a business. You are an entrepreneur. You have stepped into your power. You continually step into your power. So modeling that for your daughters is a beautiful example and permission slip for them to see what they can do too.
I love that term, permission slip.
Yeah.
And you can write your own permission slip. Oh, you don't have to wait for anyone else to write it.
Yeah, 100%. So if boudoir could dismantle one toxic belief women have carried for centuries, what would you want it to shatter first? What belief?
The idea that you're less than, or that you deserve less. Because when you believe that you deserve less, you settle for less, right? It all starts with your belief, right? If you believe that you deserve not the same opportunities. Oh, I don't deserve that raise. I don't deserve a job. I don't deserve to be happy with a partner. I don't deserve this or that. You will settle for less.
Yeah.
So the belief is to start really with, I deserve it. I can have anything a man can have. I can have anything I dream of.
Yeah.
I think I spent a long time thinking that because I'm a woman, things are different for me. And of course, there are biological differences. I was pregnant and gave birth to children. My husband did not. There are differences, but that doesn't mean I have to settle for less.
Yeah, agreed. How is photographing women in their rawest, most unguarded moments changed the way that you see beauty?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of naked bodies now. So I just truly believe we all have a naked body. We want to pretend like we don't, but we all do. And in fact, this is what I gave my TED talk on, was that spending time nude or engaging in some kind of nude activity can be a gateway to greater confidence and power in your life. So I really believe that there's something about shedding the shame of nudity that can bring you more confidence. Because It just allows you to hide quite so much. And seeing all different sizes and shapes and bodies, it's just, I think, again, it's hard to be what you can't see. So if you've never
Yeah.
seen a body like yours shown as a beautiful work of art, it can be hard to appreciate your body. But when you see lots of examples of that, it can be so much more easier to accept and love your own shape.
Absolutely. I love that. If your camera could speak, what would it say about the women who step in front of it?
Oh, that camera's seen a lot of good times. That's a great question. I I just there's something really fun about being in the studio. Yes, people sometimes are nervous or whatever, but we just have
Mhm.
so much fun in the studio. There's always laughing. I've always got music. It's just a party. I think the camera would say, "Keep it going. This is great fun."
I love that. I love that you mentioned that because I think it's so important to create an environment when we are photographed. Because, like you said, these women are coming in, they're nervous. It's a very vulnerable state that they're in. And so to keep the environment light and happy, have music going, make it a party. I don't know about you, but when I'm shooting, I'm constantly showing my clients the back of the camera. I know a lot of photographers don't do that because they don't want to show them unedited images, but I'm constantly showing them. But it's about making them comfortable because I would say 98% of the women have never ever done a photo shoot before, so they have no idea what should I do with my hands, what should I do with my legs, that's our job, is to tell them what to do, to point them in the right direction, to help them pose, and to make them feel comfortable. And part of that is through having fun, making it a fun experience, creating laughter, creating a very loose, not tense environment for them because they're already tense enough as it is stepping into the studio. So if you can do everything within your power to create a fun environment and an easygoing, laughable, enjoyable environment for them, it's going to make their experience that much better.
Yeah, you said something about not showing unedited pictures. I do a same day photo reveal.
Okay.
So I take the photos at my boudoir studio, and then right then and there, right after the shoot, I show the women who've come in, I show them a slideshow of their pictures. The instant gratification is really fun. And I also want them to see themselves as beautiful and powerful without the editing, without the Photoshop. Because there's always this like really beautiful moment for me when women see themselves and they're like, I can't believe I like the picture and it's not even Photoshopped yet.
I can't believe that's me is another big one.
Yes.
And so when you go through your process, when you're showing, so you show them the images, and then obviously you call some before you show them to them. So when you're showing them the unedited images, you go through your process of showing them those, then you edit them for them, or there is where they pick the images they like, and then you edit those ones,
Yeah.
and then okay.
Yeah, and how much we edit is up to them. So I have some women who say, I don't want these Photoshopped. I want to just have the pictures just as they are. I have other women who say, I have that blemish on my face or I have this bruise on my arm. It's not a part of me. I don't want to memorialize that. Let's take that out. And so I'm happy to do editing that people want. I'm happy to create a polished image for you. And some people want like just a really unedited view of themselves as well. Open to both.
Okay. If your daughters or future generations were to look back on your work, what message do you want them to hear echoing through every image and every word you've spoken?
First and foremost, I hope I'm remembered for being kind. That's just always the number one thing. I want to be remembered for being a kind person. I hope I am. I'm working on it every day. When you talk about my boudoir work specifically, I hope that people look and say, wow, she stepped out of what's normally like boudoir is a little bit taboo, right? It's a little bit naughty
it is.
in 2025. And I hope that someone, even if they didn't understand it or know what I was about, that they would be like, wow, this woman stepped outside of what's like typically expected of a woman of her era, did something really cool and fun to help women feel confident in their bodies. She embraced something she colored outside the lines just a little bit and brought a lot of joy and confidence to women that she served.
I think it still gets a bad rap, though. Like you said, in 2025, it still is not widely accepted.
No.
Why do you think that is? What do you think is the reason for that? I'm
I
curious
mean,
your
we
thoughts.
have centuries of tradition
Mhm.
that fights against. So boudoir puts together female bodies, art, nudity, sexuality, right? These are some of
Mhm.
the most taboo topics we have in our society, right?
Mhm.
So you think about art, just to start art, think about there used to be times when art was like smashed for being like icons or whatever. Art has
Mhm.
always been like a little bit subversive sometimes, right?
Yeah.
We look at impressionist art and we just think it's beautiful and pastel, but at the time it was like very avant-garde to have all these loose brushstrokes and have things not be representational. And art has always challenged society and how we view reality, right? So we got art to start, right? Then we have female bodies, right? The female body has always been a battleground for centuries.
Yeah.
Who gets to control women? Who gets to decide about what women are allowed to do, how much skin they're allowed to show, what they're allowed to do with their body, what spaces they're allowed to be in, right? Right? Okay, so combining art, now female bodies. Okay, now we're going to add in their sexuality. Art has this element of sensuality and sexuality and sexiness. So sexuality is extremely taboo.
Yeah.
Who are you allowed to partner with and when? In the battleground, we're still fighting. So that's okay. All right. Now we got 3 taboos, right? Like, how many of these can we layer on top of each other before it
Yeah.
becomes this space that is difficult to navigate for people? Like, maybe they're cool with female bodies, but they're not cool with art or sexuality, or maybe they're cool with sexuality, but not women, or
Yeah.
just when you bring all of those together in boudoir, you're really challenging a lot of societal norms around who is allowed to show up and how they show up, right? Are women allowed to show skin? Are women allowed to say, I'm here and I matter? Are women
Yeah.
allowed to have a voice? Are women allowed to decide what they wear? Are women
Right.
allowed to decide who gets to see these pictures and who they partner with? So it's about, I think boudoir challenges a lot of societal ideas about control, about women, about imagery. There's just a lot going on there.
For sure.
It pulls in ideas about religion
Yep.
and stories and traditions about the power that women can have with the divine. Anyway, I could go on, but yes, very taboo in many.
Yes.
I mean, some people are like, "Oh yeah, cool, go get a girl," and then some people are like, "Oh my gosh, you do what?" My own parents are very uncomfortable with the business that I run, and I feel sometimes like badly about that. But they're embarrassed that their daughter is doing this.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think they've never wanted to come visit my studio because I think they view that what I do is wrong. They come from
Right.
a generation, they see it as immoral or something, and so it's hard for them to accept that this is what their daughter is doing.
So do you just not talk about your business then with your parents?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do your daughters think of it?
So everyone always asks me that. They're like, "Do your kids know what you do?" And like they do. Of course they know what I do. I've been doing this full time for 8 years. I wouldn't be a boudoir photographer if I didn't feel like I could tell my children about it. If I felt like it was wrong, I wouldn't do it, right? Mostly they're teenagers and they're self-centered and they don't really care about what I'm doing. But I hope what they are like gleaning is that like mom is going to support me because she supports women.
Yeah.
Mom does something that brings her joy and is also a business, which is like sort of a rare combination sometimes to have a job that you also love, that you feel like is
For sure.
mission based. So I hope they know maybe I could have a job that I love too. Of course, I don't share client photos with them. There's privacy even in my own home, right?
Yeah.
But I hope that they're getting the right messages from what I do. I chased a dream. I opened a business. I support women. There's nothing wrong with your body. You're perfect just as you are. And boudoir is for grown-ups, not for teens.
Yeah, for sure. What would your camera capture if it turned around and photographed you in your most unguarded state?
I've done a lot of photo shoots, so I could show you some of those pictures. Once I got started with boudoir, like I can't stop, right? Like I do all kinds of boudoir photo shoots. I ended up at a conference in Las Vegas not too long ago with a bunch of boudoir photographers, and we're like in a hotel room in our underwear taking pictures of each other. Right?
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of photos of myself, and some of them I do feel like really captured who I want to be and how I want to show up in the world. I still feel, even 10 years after my first boudoir photo shoot, that every time I'm in front of the camera, it's a confidence boost. It's fun. I love being photographed. I love being documented. Like I still chase that feeling because I still love it.
Yeah. Okay. If fear walked into your studio, what would you say to it?
Fear. Okay. Now listen, fear plays a role, right? We should have some fears, right? You should not walk out into the street while you're looking at your phone. I'm talking to you pedestrians in Chicago. You should have some healthy fears, right? And some of your dreams are on the other side of fear.
Yep.
So there's fear that protects you and there's fear that holds you back. And trying to discern the difference between those two types of fear, I think is like the work of a lifetime.
Yeah.
When is my body, my brain saying, this is not safe, this is not safe, I should back off? And when is my body and brain saying that? And it just means this is new, but it doesn't mean you can't try it. Because I actually, as a personality, I'm a very low risk person. I don't like to take big risks. I don't like heights. I will never go skiing. That is way too scary for me. I don't, when we go to a restaurant, I order the same food every time because I don't want to try something new and just not liking it. I'm actually not a high risk personality. So you can understand that opening a business was there was a lot of fear for me on opening a business. And there was also a part of me that kept saying, I do not want to be 95 years old on my deathbed, if I am so lucky to live that long, and look back and say, I really wanted to try opening that photo studio, but I just never did because I was afraid. Yeah, I knew that I didn't want to have that regret.
Yeah.
So I was like, even if this business fails, I will, as a 95-year-old, be glad that I tried.
Yeah.
Because there is such a strong pull, such a strong urge to do this work, to be a boudoir photographer, that if I don't do it, I will live with regret. And that's what gave me the courage to overcome the fear of failure with opening a business.
Love it. If you had to describe your journey in one photograph that doesn't exist yet, what would it look like?
It doesn't exist yet. There's a lot of photos I want to take. There are women this is unlikely to happen, but I would love to meet Princess Kate. She's one of the royals. That's on a bucket list to take a photo of her, right? But there are also just like moments I want to live long enough to take photos of. I want to take a picture of my daughters in a wedding dress. I want to take a picture of them graduating from college. Everything I do ultimately is in the hopes of helping others, my family, reach their dreams. So if there's a photo I could take if there's a photo out there that because I took it, someone was able to reach their dreams, that's what I would hope would be a photo that encapsulates my mission.
Beautiful. Now, you mentioned your TEDx talk. Can you tell us a bit more about it, the inspiration behind writing that particular talk, and what that experience was like for you on the TEDx stage? And how did standing under those lights compare to watching women stand vulnerably in front of you?
Yeah, I was really lucky to be able to give this TEDx talk. I applied because it was local to me, but I didn't really think I was going to get selected. I hadn't done any public speaking before that. And when I did get selected, then I was suddenly hit with, oh boy, so it was a very intense process. It was over a period of about 9 months of writing the talk, memorizing the talk, going to dress rehearsals, getting coached on it. Giving the talk, I was extremely nervous. So not all TEDx conferences are the same, but at mine, I was not allowed to have any notes or subtitles or anything. They're not called subtitles, teleprompters.
Yep.
So it was all from memory. And I got up there and was talking about a topic that a lot of people don't really want to hear about necessarily. So my topic was nudity isn't naughty. And so I talked about like the power of the nude body and nude experiences. And I could tell in the audience that there were some people who were like visibly uncomfortable with it. I did not sign up for this conference to have some lady come up there and tell me I should be naked more often. And so not only was I a new public speaker, not only was I doing it from memory, but I was also talking about a very like taboo topic. But I'm glad I did it. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. I've had people email me and message me and say, your talk changed me. Changed how I've been doing this and that. Here's my little report about what I did. And that makes me feel like it was worth doing and worth the work and the effort that I put into creating it.
That's a pretty big stage to step onto for your very first public speaking engagement.
Yeah, exactly. But interestingly, giving that TEDx talk is what gave me the courage and the experience to come and do things like this. I'd also never been on a podcast before.
Okay.
So now I've been doing a few of those and feeling like it's part of my mission is getting the message out.
Yeah, absolutely. In your wildest vision, Start over again. Sorry. What do you think your unique skill set is that's helped you become successful? Your skill set or superpower that's helped you become successful?
I really do not mind hard work. I love a project. I love working. I don't mind waking up every day and working on my business. I go on vacation and still think a little bit about my business, maybe in a little bit of an unhealthy way, but I'm not running away from, I'm not one of those people that like dreads Sunday night because the workday is coming. I love my work and I love getting to work. I love working on marketing. I love working on the website. I love learning new things about lighting. I love trying to make the experience better for women. And listen, I'm not the world's most creative photographer. There's a lot of people out there doing a lot more interesting creative things, but I am willing to work. I'm willing to put in the hours. I'm willing to keep working at it in a way that I think has given me some success in my business.
Yeah. And so speaking of success, what does that word mean to you?
Ultimately, success, I think, means coming to a point in your life where you feel some sense of satisfaction and pride in what you're doing. Not that you're perfect, not that there's not room for growth, but that you have created something, you've helped people in a way that you feel really proud of. And to me, it's not a dollar figure.
Yeah.
Although, listen, if you don't make any dollars, you can't help people anymore.
That's right.
So there have to be some dollars coming in for you to keep doing this. I'm not trying to be all like, oh, money's not important. Money's super important. I'm not running a charity, right? And even charities have to raise money, right?
Yep, for sure.
But I think success to me looks like feeling satisfied that I've set a goal, achieved it, and helped people.
Love it. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
So I actually Googled the exact definition of this. And one thing that came up, of course, it means to give power, right? But you're just using the same word to describe what it is. And one word that really stuck out to me in the definition on Webster's online for empowerment was the word to give authority. When you empower someone, you give them authority. And that to me is like what you were saying, Brad, earlier about the permission slip. It's somehow if I empower someone to do something, I'm somehow giving them permission and authority to do what I'm not doing it for them. Yeah. I'm not acting on their behalf. Instead, I'm giving them the authority and permission to act with the power that they already have. So when women come to the studio and feel empowered, I haven't actually done anything really except for open a door. It's then up to them to step through it.
Yep, for sure. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing. Okay. What is your favorite place on earth?
Rome. I lived there for 2 years and I want to go back every day.
What is your secret or hidden talent?
I got to think about this for just a second. It was supposed to be rapid fire. I am weirdly really good at fitting all the containers back into the fridge.
That is definitely a gift for sure. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
You're worth it. You are valuable.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Dark chocolate.
What is one word that sums up your mindset?
Ready. I'm ready for it.
One book that changed your life.
There's a book called The Joy of Less by Francine J, which helped me release my tight grip on possessions.
Okay. What is one word that defines the woman you're becoming?
Strength.
Beautiful. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question for you that I did not send you ahead of time. What is one habit, ritual, or practice that has been a game changer in your personal growth?
Writing down and repeating affirmations, mantras. Because I have learned that what I think over and over becomes my belief pattern. And one of the ways to change your thought patterns is to literally write down new thoughts and think them. And it seems basic, but I didn't really understand this practice till recently. And it has totally changed my whole outlook on life.
I love that. If you were to introduce yourself to me without mentioning your occupation, where you're from, your ethnicity, your nationality, what you do, your hobbies, all of these day-to-day superficial markers that we use in our lives, how would you introduce yourself to me?
I'm a person. You're not giving me very many opportunities to say anything.
No.
I'm a person who loves being in nature. I'm a person who loves meeting new people. I never stop talking. I'd love to hear your story. And I also will probably have a camera in my hand.
Okay. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
What's next for you?
Okay. What's next for you?
I'm working on a couple of books. I'm going to make a 3-part series about empowerment, and we are almost done with number 3. So I'm looking forward to getting those published.
Amazing. Congratulations. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Okay, I thought about this for a long time. And if I'm allowed to pick a dead person,
Yeah.
I want to pick, Dante Alighieri. He wrote the Inferno. Do you know this? It's like an epic poem from the medieval time.
No.
Okay, anyway, he was in love with a woman named Beatrice, and he wrote some of the world's greatest literature about this woman. And I would love to meet her. We don't get to hear one word from her. We don't know anything about her. We just know about him. I would like to meet her. She seems amazing. She lives in Italy in the medieval era in Florence. I want to meet her and take pictures of her.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Don't sell yourself short. Don't believe that you deserve less. I believed that for a long time. And it's taken a lot of years to accept that I did believe that, but that I don't want to believe that anymore.
Yeah. That's a huge mindset shift. It takes a lot of work to get to that point, especially when you've been living that and embodying that other side of it for so long. It's hard to break that conditioning.
Absolutely.
Lastly, Liz, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your corner of the world, your tribe, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
If I really knew I was going to die in 30 seconds, I would spend the whole time telling my daughters how much I love them, telling my husband how much I loved him, calling my siblings, my parents. There's nothing more important to me than family. If I had a little bit longer than 30 seconds, I would say thank you to everyone who'd helped me along the way, to my clients, to my employees, to relatives, to strangers, to family members who've just been there and supported me all along the way.
Beautiful. Liz, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, having the opportunity to sit down and share in your story, your journey, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through helping the women through your photography work. I appreciate you, and I'm honored to call you a friend, to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brad. This has been really great.
My honor and my pleasure. Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Liz Hansen. She is a boudoir photographer and a TEDx speaker. Thanks so much, Liz. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca, follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast, and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.